What's going on? I hope everybody is in good spirits. I came to talk to y'all today about not letting your circumstances dictate your attitude. Do not let your circumstances dictate your attitude. We go through life, a lot of times, like they say, life is lifing. We have circumstances, kid problems, maybe death in the family, problems on the job. It's so many things that we can go through, and sometimes we let that overtake us, and it'll change the way we act, the way we act towards ourselves, the way we act towards other people, and it'll make us have a different outlook on life, because of that negative change in attitude, and because things are not going to always go great. And when things are not going great, that doesn't mean that it's okay to have a negative attitude. I mean, we're human, so we're gonna have humane actions. So we're gonna experience feelings of negativity, but at the same time, we can't let it stick. We can't let it stick. We got to learn to look at life through a different lens. I was at my daughter's school last week, and we watched the movie Dog Man. And in the movie Dog Man, they had the villain was Pete the cat. And Pete the cat, he was not going through the whole movie, but he wanted to clone another evil version of itself. So he went and brought the machine to clone an evil version of itself, and what ended up happening was the machine made another version of itself, but it made him as a child. So he had to raise this child into an evil version of itself. So this child that Pete had, Pete Jr., he didn't see the world that way. Whereas Pete, Big Pete, he seen negativity and everything. He walked around, they walking, he seeing trash on the ground. Pete might see beautiful grass, or Pete see a mud puddle and he telling him to watch out for the mud puddle. But Pete Jr., he want to play in the mud puddle. He look at it as fun. So we got to look at life through a different lens. Like that was the thing. In the movie, that's what Big P had to realize, is that he was trying to ruin this little kid's life to see life through an evil lens, when he was looking at life wrong. We got to learn to look at life and through the proper lens, regardless of what we going through. And I mean, I'm not talking to somebody like, I'm a person that I don't have it, I'm not gonna say I don't have it going on, because I want to, when people think they have it going on, people think they have it going on because of material possessions. Like over these past few months, I've learned a lot about myself. Like I don't have a lot of material possessions at this particular time, but I've done so much self-work on the inside and learned to look at life through a different lens. I've learned to do it myself. So that's how, I'm never going to speak on something that I don't understand or haven't been through. So I learned to look at life through a different lens, and it's really helped me out. Even after that, me and my daughter were leaving her school, and the sun, I wasn't paying attention to it, but the sun was shining through the clouds like I've never seen it before in my life. I wish I didn't have my phone in the school with me, because I was with her, so I didn't want to be in there playing on my phone while I'm spending time with my child. So I left my phone in the truck. So but when we left, she was like, "Oh, Dad, look." And I looked up, and it was like the sun was in the center of these clouds, but the way that it was shaped, it looked like an angel. And she was like, "It looked like God." And I was like, "It do." And like it made me, like I had already started looking at life through a more positive lens. But when she said that, you know, it started making me look even more. So, you know, like that just happened last week. So now, you know, I'm looking in the sky and, you know, like I'm seeing some amazing things, you know, like I feel like God is personally smiling on me some days because, you know, like I am trying to have a better attitude. I'm doing so much better, you know, so much better. You know, I'm always going to be a work in progress as long as I'm on this earth. But, everything's been better, you know, like I used to think people looked at me a certain way or and started feeling a certain way about people. And then I started looking at life through a, you know, a different scope. And now, you know, like people are speaking to me, like people are more nice to me, you know, like it's like you don't know what you're projecting until you change it. Once you change once you change that negativity you're projecting, then you could and people are going to respond to you different, and you're going to feel like you've really done nothing different. You've done nothing different as far as your outward appearance, but just because you start changing your insides, it's going to radiate on the outside, and it's going to, you know, and people are going to look at that and they're going to treat you different. I have people speaking to me. I was sitting in my truck one day at the damn store, and a man was speaking to me in this truck way across the way, like he waving at me. I'm like, damn, like, but you know, like I've started having so many different encounters where I know just by me changing the way I feel inside and changing my insides, you know, as far as spiritually, mentally, and all of that, people treat you different. You're going to treat yourself different. You're going to grow a different level of respect for yourself. People are going to have a different level of respect for you. But you got to change the way you look at your circumstance. I mean, you know, circumstances are going to be there. But, you know, so it takes a whole lot of energy to be negative. Personally to me, it's a lot of energy to be negative. A lot of energy. So I feel so much better. I feel so much worthwhile. I feel like, you know, even on days I haven't taken what I think may be a big step, just by being positive. You know, you might have done a positive gesture, or somebody may have given you a positive gesture, and you got to count all that as joy. You got to count it all as a blessing. You got to be thankful for all that. Everything ain't gonna be huge and slap you right in the face. You know, everything ain't gonna be like that. And if you can't learn to be thankful and appreciative of the small, God ain't gonna give you the big. So man, I started being thankful for everything. Like I say, she showed me that the other day. Hell, I've been out here. I've taken pictures of the sun. I've been taking pictures of the sun because it's been crazy. It's like I stand outside, like I was standing by where trees were covering the sun, but for some reason the sun was peering right directly on me, right in the only hole in this little small canopy of trees. And I took a picture of it. I'm like, man, so man, just count your blessings. Don't let your circumstances overwhelm you. I mean, it's easier said than done because, like I said, we humans, so it's gonna hit you sometime, but you can't let it whoop you. You can't let nothing whoop you. You gotta have that mindset where nothing ain't gonna whoop you. You know, I mean, you got to enjoy. You know, this ain't it's not a video game. We only got one shot at it, so we got to make the best of it. And you know, don't nobody want to die. You know, anything can happen to anybody at any time, but whatever time we got left, man, we might as well make the best of it. Be thankful for it, count our blessings, and go forward. And that's all I got for y'all. Everybody have a blessed day.